All right, guys, welcome back to the Bryce Bible Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about one verse. It is John 3, verse 30, spoken by John the Baptist. He must increase, but I must decrease. The context for this verse is that basically what's happening is Jesus has come to earth. John prepared the way for him. John was the guy that was like, Jesus is coming. Jesus is going to be the savior of the world, and he's coming to change everyone's lives and give you hope. And John was the one that proclaimed Jesus was going to be coming. And John got a huge following. John had a billion disciples and a ton of people that followed him around, and he baptized everyone. I mean, he even baptized Jesus, right? But at this time, people are starting to follow Jesus. People are seeing Jesus, what Jesus has to say, what Jesus is offering, and they're starting to follow Jesus. And so John is losing some followers. He's not necessarily losing them, but they're going to Jesus. They're following Jesus now. And these people come to John and they're asking him questions about what's going on and why are you allowing this to happen, essentially. And John starts in verse 27 and he says, "A man can receive nothing except to be given him from heaven." Why is this significant? Because John realizes that what he's been given, his ministry, the people following him, the lives he's been given to steward, has been given him from heaven. He's been given this responsibility to take care of it. And that season might have been over for him. It wasn't over because John still had a ministry. But if that season even was over, then it was of heaven. It was God's will that would occur. He says in verse 30, he must increase, but I must decrease. Why? Why can't they both be great? Why can't John and Jesus both be great? Why can't you and Jesus both be great? Why can't I and Jesus both be great? Why can't Jesus and someone else share the same stage? Why can't we kind of share power? It's because exactly what John says here. It's not an option. It's that he must increase and I must decrease, because who Jesus is perfection. Jesus is not, he does not display love. He does not display joy. He does not display mercy. He does not display grace. He does not display kindness. He does not display goodness. Jesus is all of those things. Jesus is perfection. God, our Father in heaven, the triune God, is perfection, is infallible, is perfect, is everything we wish that we were and want to be and strive to be and put ourselves on pedestals and say that we are. God is those things. And because of that, he must increase, but I must decrease. Why? Because, very simply, we are broken, fallen sinners with nothing good in us who want sin. We want bad. We want wrong. Honestly, we want misery, if you think about it. Because every time we choose to do something that is not of heaven, we end up bringing misery upon ourselves because we separate ourselves more and more from God. Our conscience, every time we do something and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and don't get up and don't repent and don't seek his forgiveness, we grow a little bit farther away from where we were supposed to be and what we were supposed to do. So ultimately, we are seeking misery because we're told in the book of Proverbs that if we deny wisdom, if we don't listen to wisdom, if we don't go the way that wisdom has called us to go, the way that Jesus has called us to go, we don't drink the water of life that he's given us to drink, then we will eat the fruit of our ways. We will be filled with the fruit of our own devices. We will get what's coming to us and what the path that we've laid down for ourselves to walk. We will walk that path and reap the benefits of it. So back to the verse, John 3, verse 30. He must increase, but I must decrease. Why can't I just stay the same? Why? Okay, so Jesus has to increase. I get it. He's perfect. He's great. He's good. He's all these cool things. And, he must increase. Why can't I just stay the same? Why can't I just kind of maintain where I'm at and do what I'm doing? And you know what? I've got this sin I do it's not that bad. Maybe it is that bad, but I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's something I really need to get rid of because I kind of enjoy it. I draw pleasure from it. I think I should keep doing it, right? Why can't I just kind of stay where I'm at? And, I'll listen to Jesus. He's got some good advice. He raised some people from the dead and he said some cool stuff that makes me feel good and fuzzy and all this sort of stuff. So, all right, I'll listen to him a little bit. He can increase, but I want to stay where I'm at. That doesn't work because Jesus is not calling for nominal Christianity or nominal followership. Jesus says to us, to you and me, he says, pick up your cross and follow me. So let's think about that. He doesn't say, you know what, Bryce, today, I want you to follow me as much as you want. Just as much as you want. And if you don't really want to follow me today, that's okay. If you want to follow me a lot today, that's good too. If you want to really commit your life to me today, that's cool. You decide what you want to do. No. Jesus says, pick up your cross and follow me. There is a radical difference between saying we're Christians and acting as Christians and living as Christians. The thing we start to realize the deeper we go into this salvation orange, right? Like it's like you're peeling off the layers of this orange. It's a salvation orange. The deeper we go into this salvation orange, the more we realize that what he's offered us is not something that deprives us. It's not that becoming a Christian, oh my gosh, now I can't go get drunk on the weekends and I can't go and, have sex before marriage and look at porn and all this sort of, it's not like we're looking at all those things as like, oh my gosh, I can't do them. When you look at life through the lens that's given us here, you realize that all of those things are empty and a void and vanity and meaningless and will not fulfill and will leave you empty and hopeless and miserable and sick and full of regret. Those things that you think will fill you up, whether it's the things I said or whether it's other things, put whatever you're seeking in your life that you think can fill you up. They can't. They weren't made to. So when we switch our mindset, as we keep peeling this salvation orange, right? When we switch our mindset from, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore. Are you serious? God, why? Why are you making me not do these things that I enjoy? You realize those things weren't meant to fill you up. They can't fill you up. Proverbs tells us that hell and destruction are like the eyes of man. Both of them are never fulfilled. Both of them are never satisfied. Both of them never have enough. We are never filled with the fruits of our labor. We can never get enough. We can read in the book of Ecclesiastes all of the things that Solomon had, and yet he was still empty. They were vanity. They were vain. They didn't fill him up, and he had everything. He must increase, but I must decrease. So we understand that who he is, the perfection he is, that he exhibits for us to follow, for us to partake in. That's significant, by the way, that we get to partake in who he is. That we are not separated from him, because he could very well have, when man fell, just left us to be and scratched us as a human race, which he borderline did with Noah's Ark and all that sort of stuff. There were like 8 people left. I really wish I knew more about what happened before then. There was some seriously bad stuff going on, but we're heading back there. And every decision we make to turn ourselves from God and to follow our own ways gets us one step closer to getting wiped off the face of the earth, just like Noah's generation was. But that's not the point here. The point is that we understand now that he must increase because he is perfect, he is great, he is good, he is God, he is all of these things. He doesn't exhibit them, he is all of these different things. So we understand he must increase. And then we understand the second part, I must decrease, because in me, that is in my flesh, there is no good thing. Paul says that, right? He says also in the book of Romans that there is no one that does righteousness. There's not one. I'll turn to the passage because it's harrowing. You read it. I can't find it. I don't know where it is. It's in Romans, but Paul's talking about how there's none that does righteousness. There's none that seeks after the right way. And that's just patently true in our lives, because we were not made to be righteous. We were not made to seek righteousness. We were made in enmity with God because we are Adam's descendants, Adam who sinned, who fell. And now we think that we can find a way to be reconciled back by our own strength, by doing whatever makes us happy. And honestly, a lot of the time, I don't think we're even trying to be reconciled back, but we do believe we can. We believe that nominal Christianity, right? We'll do just enough to get by. We'll do just enough to, well, you know what? Maybe not even seek God's favor, but to make ourselves feel good, because that's what it's all about, right? Is us, how we feel. our pride, right? Like we're big enough, we're good enough, we're strong enough. We're not. So he must increase, I must decrease. How do these two things work together? Well, I would use the analogy of, you can think of it as like oil and water. Let's just say you have a big vase, all right? And we're oil and he's water, right? Like they don't go together. Like we have to fill our vase all up with him. But the thing is, we don't fill ourselves up. It's like I talked about a little bit ago. We are trying to fill up, if you have a giant dome, we are trying to fill up this giant dome of our life with this little pinball of these minuscule happinesses and pleasures and things of this world and things that we think can fill us up, but they weren't made to. All the good we experience is tied into the fact that we see and know the truth, and that the bad in this world that seeks to drive us away from him that is the real thing that deprives us, the bad, right? So here where John says he must increase and I must decrease, he understands that this whole world is about God, right? Like we were not made, and we want so badly to be the center of everything. I want to be the center of everything with my pride, right? Not just as a human, I want Bryce to be the center of everything because I'm most important. I'm best. I am this. I am that. Whatever. Put me in whatever the highest spot is, and that's where I want to be because I want it. I deserve it. I earned it. I'm great. I'm the best. Me, right? That's a human disease. But the thing is, this world wasn't made for us. This world wasn't made to glorify us, to make us the great stuff, to make us the thing that everyone talks about, to make us the God which we want to be, which we think we are. And we're told, Paul tells us that in this world, it is of him, it is to him, and it is through him that all things are and continue to be. So when we understand that this whole entire world was made by God for his purposes in the ways that he has designed, and that we, like I said earlier, we get to enter into this with him to be part of this big picture thing that he's created for us to walk in. That he redeems us. Oh my gosh, that all the different things that he does when he opens our eyes and shows us the truth and where we're supposed to walk and what we're supposed to do. It's a complete mindset shift because it goes from us feeling this sense of, oh my goodness, there's something else God doesn't want me to do. God's holding out on me. God's holding out all the goodies. I can't do anything I want to do, what my friends do. And the things that I used to do and I really enjoyed and I really liked them. Well, there's a way that seems right to man, and this way leads to death. We're told that in Proverbs. We're also told that the heart of man is desperately wicked. Who can know it? So then, why would we not want to decrease when we understand how desperately wicked we are? When we understand how perverted our eyes are, our thoughts are, our desires are, our fleshly habits and lusts and the things we seek after. When we understand how completely depraved and turned from God we are as a human race, as a human creature, in our flesh, in this old man. I'll try to turn to 2 Corinthians here and see if I can go 1 for 2 on my passages here, because there's a really good bit in 2 Corinthians that applies here. It's 2 Corinthians 4, verses 16. It says, "For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day." When we understand that this outward man that tries to draw us back and pull us back, and Satan and his devils and our flesh all work together to say, go back to where you came from. Go back to the place that the Lord delivered you from and freed you from, because you are big enough. He appeals to your pride. Satan will appeal to your pride. Your flesh will appeal to your pride. And he'll tell you, you know what? You're little. You're weak if you follow him. And that's what I used to think reading this. Why is John so weak? Why is John so little? Why is John, who created this whole ministry, just bowing down and dying and saying, he must increase and I must decrease. That's weak, right? Well, you know what? The weak things of this world are strength to him. He has used the weak things to put down the proud. We can read that in Mary's prayer. He's exalted the humble and put down the proud. Satan appeals to your pride and says, you're big enough, you're good enough. You don't need God. You don't even want God, because you know what? You figured out the things you enjoy and the things you want to do and the things that give you, quote unquote, pleasure and happiness and whatever. Fill in that box of the thing that you want most. Satan says, you're good enough. You can do it. You don't need God. John says, he must increase, but I must decrease. When we understand how depraved we are as human beings, how could we possibly not pray with everything in us that God would help us to decrease? When we understand how sick our minds are and how twisted and perverted and far from his ways they are, and the pride that, think of it as a virus, this pride that infects our hearts and makes us think that we are good enough to walk our own path and do our own thing and walk our own way. When we really think about who we are as a person outside of God, it is disgusting. We aren't these beautiful creatures that we read about in pop culture and, oh, follow your heart. And I was listening to a Tom Petty song earlier, and I love Tom Petty, but one of the lines in the Tom Petty song is like, follow your heart. It's like, no, I love you, Tom Petty, but the heart is desperately wicked. We are wicked. I am wicked. How can we trust to follow ourselves when we are so perverted and far from what we were meant to be? The answer to all this is so simple. It's God. It's his redeeming power. It's the excess that he provides us in him. In him is the fullness of joy. In him is the fullness of joy. That's all I can say. We can compare the two. Our heart is desperately wicked. Who can know it? There's none that's righteous. No, not one. In him is fullness of joy. So when John says he must increase and I must decrease, John isn't saying, you know what? I'm going to go hide in a corner and cry because he doesn't love me anymore. I'll decrease. Whatever. I'm just going to say this to posture myself and make myself look good. No. John is saying it because genuinely the only way for us to live is to decrease and for him to increase. Because the more of us we have in us, the more wicked and perverted and disgusting and human ways we will have guiding us. So go ahead. Do it. Do whatever you want. Experience life and fill yourself up with your human ways. I've done it. I continue to do it in my flesh, and it is miserable. Living in the way that my flesh tells me to live, that Satan tells me to live, is misery, because I wasn't made to be God, even though my pride and my flesh every single day say, you know what, Bryce, you're big enough, you're good enough, you're God. Go be your own God. Go make your own way. Go seek out your own path and walk it because you're good enough to do it. But you know what? We're not. We weren't made to be. And the cool thing is, when we read this word, we realize that just one page away, one book away, one prayer away is the Redeemer, is the purpose for everything that we can ever do. And it's all right here. It's not a mystery. We've been told the truth. The question is, will we read it? Will we learn it? Will we seek it out? Will we do it? It's not a mystery. It's been made very plain. And that's the beautiful thing about the word. He must increase and I must decrease. That's how we have to live our lives, and remember that in us, in our flesh, there dwells no good thing. We are wicked. Our hearts are wicked. Our eyes are wicked. Our path we walk is wicked without the correction of the Lord. I hope this speaks to you, and in some way you can see the Lord's truth. He must increase, I must decrease. That's the bottom line. Without that, we're hopeless. Without that, go ahead. Walk your own path. Do what Solomon did, and see if it works out. I don't think it can. All right, hope you have a good week. Goodbye.